Live.
Every night, le doy con todo y si no puedo, I pray.
Every night, every day.
A veces llego tarde y se lo doy anyway. Llegado de Saturno de Polo Night Sun. Sábado en la noche a coger el sol. Llegado de Saturno de Polo Night Sun. Sábado en la noche a coger el sol.
Every day. Every day. Gotta go get it every day. Gotta go get it every day. I'm telling you, every day. Every day. Every day.
Every day we come into Galactic Money to watch a little bit of macroeconomics, CryptoNomics, and TokenNomics, and a little bit of science, since our academic institutions have been getting away from science. We got to cover a little bit every day out here in Galactic Money. Jumping right into the Dixie. Yes, ranging here over the past couple months around 93. Yes, we expecting this. We have a few analysts in the crypto space. Big shout out to Crown Crypto Cave. That's like my crystal ball, basically. So he does all the work. He's amazing. Follow him, watch him, learn. Um, yes. So the main idea with the Dixie that I check it every day is to see like normally is negative correlated to the general markets, right? So uh, the general tradable markets like stocks and Bitcoin and stuff like that. Um, we expecting this to go bullish as the rest of the currency starts to devaluate very soon. And we jump into the new telenovela. I gotta tell you, these people, they know how to run a script for sure. It gets better and better every 4 years. Um, yeah, the last couple of videos I've been saying that they were gonna it wasn't gonna be a smooth transition of what to who. Yeah, there's no transition of power uh, ever. The same people that's been running the whole thing, they've been running it regardless of who's the puppet. Okay, so but we know that now it's like a technological um, media, so that's how you see what they do, and it's very easy. You don't have to be a genius to just like look why there's people censoring the truth over and over, like they did in TV and radio back then. um, yeah, I mean, this guy, he I mean, he said it. What he said it like
In a situation where we have put together, and you
unconsciously he
guys
said it.
did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Secondly,
Okay, so he said that I think a few weeks ago. Um, yeah, I'm sure it is like slipping out of his mind, even though he doesn't want to. Like he's at that stage, only because the House of Cards is a ridiculous monetary system. The House of Cards, the monetary system that we run in global in the world. Um, every time it has to be more ridiculous. The whole thing. This is how we get um, the whole coronavirus and the whole climate change stuff. We're gonna jump into that later, but BTC is obviously looking strong. As soon as it did above 13.5, we've been saying it's gonna go to 16 pretty soon. Um, yeah, of course, this we always watch the levels because this could be doing some correction. Uh, But I want to point out that something that I'm surprised that the BTC dominance is still this big, um, because I'm one of the few guys that I want to talk that a little bit later. I'm one of the few guys that talks about total market cap superseding everything, and it's obvious, right? Um, the conglomerate of the whole crypto space is the actual like breakthrough technology, right? The whole combination of it, not just BTC. So I'm surprised to see the dominance still be. I didn't account for this. I thought that since the market is getting bigger and bigger, it was going to be harder for BTC to maintain its dominance, even as it went up. But it seems we've seen BTC dominance up to like 90% at some points, right? So could this happen now? I'm not sure. Fear and greed is slowing down a little bit, but yeah, 16 very soon. That's what the levels will suggest. Okay. Um, yeah. So with a little bit of closing the chapter to the soap opera, maybe the markets will get a little bit of certainty and they start pumping. The money's already been printed. We're gonna check it later, but the Feds printed at least that I accounted for very very like uh, 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 freely, close to 12 trillion. This is now everything with a T, right? um, which is $1 trillion is a ridiculous amount of money. Like think about like what country can pay that? Like when, is this whole house of cards a system of debt, right? They have to get creative to keep feeding the debt. Like we need more ridiculous things so we can afford ridiculous debt. Like there's no other way to explain it. If you still don't see that, you are not an adult. That's why I do this show every day, because there's just a lot of like uh, um, ignorance, and like a lot of ignorance, and then there's a lot of like people taking advantage of the ignorance. And it's not like I'm a know-it-all or whatever, but everything I put here is basically non-subjective. I try to just put as much data as possible. I and try not to mix in my emotions in there. It's inevitable, but I try not to. Okay. So anyway, um, Ethereum 2.0, awesome. We can start depositing into the contract. Is it live? I believe so, right? Um, this is overall bullish and probably an indication of the all season, right? It would make sense, ETC needs to go to 500. The 13.5 for ETC, the equivalent of the 13.5 was like basically close to 500. And from there, maintain and go up at least to like what does Ivan say, like about 900 bucks, 800 bucks, uh, when the market starts. You know, my whole notion's been like about 400 billion now, right? We're gonna see all season star above 450 billion, whatever those levels are in prices. That's like and then once we maintain 500 billion, we're not coming back. And that's just my guesstimation. You know, comparing the $500 billion mark to the $100 billion mark of way back in 15, when I started getting into BTC and stuff. Um, yeah, so since these people right here, they not able to, they never did an isolation. None of these people, okay, none of these people did an isolation of the COVID, okay. So if you find the isolation papers, ask, you can read it, you can do your own research, and what you will find is that they just took a bunch of data that they have, and mix it all together. Data, okay, strictly that was all they did. They mixed a bunch of data that they had collected from before, and they put it together. They call it COVID, okay. um, they say the data shows 80% similarity to the coronavirus or whatever. They never even said that they finished a isolation process, where you try to identify out of like the billions and trillions in amount of viruses that you have, different kinds, hundreds to 200 different kinds. Like, you have to isolate one of them if you think one of them is causing you a problem. That's like basic fundamental stuff. They never did that. Okay. If That's why they never show you an actual picture of like somebody with COVID, right? um that's I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. No, the test is just a ridiculous thing. um but very fundamentally, they cannot show you that. Since they cannot show you what an isolation of COVID, I'm the first one to show you the actual COVID. Okay. You see right there, the Chinese, since they were allowed to print the most for the longest, they had to take the hit. That's why the COVID has to come out of there. They allow them to do this, but they had to sacrifice. Yeah, then the America took off again, and now Europe is catching. The Americans took off, and then the Europeans are catching, and that's, the way you see this is where the lockdowns are coming too, right? I want to shout out this person, Simon Dolan. We need more people like this. Like, I have a man crush on this guy right now. Um, Taking the UK government to court, okay? And there's a link there. You can check a lot of the steps, what he did, and obviously donation as well. Yeah, you need money to take the government to court. So everybody who can donate. But this is incredible. We need more people like this in the world. Because this are crime against humanity. This is, and we've been taking it for so long, uh, and we've been ignorant for so long. But it's time to start, like adults, to start doing this kind of stuff. Like, let's make these people accountable. Because there's nothing in the air that's killing people. What is killing people for sure is like depression and, economic hardship that they bring in upon uh, humanity with all this nonsense, all this lockdown, unnecessary stuff. We'll go over it and we'll show that it's all a mockery. But yeah, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I actually flew and was an instructor at the airport where they're supposed terrorist train, like in a Cessna 152, and then jumped into it like a jumbo jet, like you know, it, it's like for you to do that, like mentally, physically, no, it's impossible. Okay, then the fire from this airplanes, as big as you think they are, the fires from this airplane cannot melt those 836 steel beams that was supporting those those buildings that were supposed to hold for all kinds of situation, right? Regardless, this is the same people bringing us the whole climate change stuff. Yeah, I gotta cover some of the science because it's all linked to the economics. I know it may seem like why the hell are you talking about this? We came to check the crypto show, yeah, but none of the crypto heads. This is not a crypto news channel, you know. None of the crypto news guys, none of the crypto, you know, they do a lot of great research. Very smart people, very smart guys normally. Um, Yet they know better not to trust the government with money. Yet they trusting blindly everything they feeding y'all with the basic, like, you don't have to be a scientist. You can use your brain and do a little bit of research and ask, like, how come these people since the 80s have been wrong? Okay, just like this is the same people that deliver you coronavirus. Okay, and none of their models, because that's all they do, predictive models, prediction models that comes from a computer, and don't follow observation whatsoever, you know. um, yeah, this is the same thing they did back here, you know, that uh, there was no real observation out of Wuhan, in the cells of, you know, cadavers that passed away from so-called pneumonia, you know. And they they didn't even need to look at the stuff for what they were doing. They were just gonna do a witchcraft, I call it, you know, because it's all a spell, you know. Um, they never isolated no virus. The they never try to follow the Koch postulates. You can do your own research on the Koch postulate, but it's a very basic 4 step method that you would do to try to isolate something that may be causing you a problem, like a microorganism or something, you know. But it's all it's all craziness. Okay, um, we're gonna go into a little bit of climate change because the main ideas of the reality that's happening with our climate are not being communicated by any mainstream media. There's a lot of scientists on social media. You can follow Ned Nikolov, PhD, um, and he shows, you know, how planetary temperatures are a result of pressure and not the chemical composition of the atmosphere. Like, you don't use chemicals to like cool or heat up your room, right? You use pressure. An AC is just a depressurizing system, right? A heater, water heater is just a pressurizing system. That's basic thermodynamics. You know, you um, you could check net stuff. One thing I want to point out though, that these people and the rest of their legions of demons they call weathermans and meteorologists and all these people, they they talk about CO2 without stopping, but they never talk about beryllium 10. Okay, it's the same, it's the same exact thing, right? But when it starts going towards more towards beryllium 10, we know this for a fact, right? Like every scientist knows this for a fact, and it's undeniable that when we have an increased amount, sustainable increased amount, there's nothing stopping the cold. Okay, yeah, it may. it all makes sense, and you can find more information uh, on suspicious observer um, YouTube channel, the Thunderbolt channel. If you want to go into deep the electric universe, the actual observable electrical universe, you can go into um, the Thunderbolt project. But yeah, we now have a lot of beryllium time, and it's due to the fact that we may be jumping into a grand solar minimum within a couple decades, maybe one, maybe 2 decades, who knows. But the fact is that we've been having the lowest solar output of the past couple 100 years. Okay. What do all these dates and events? What do all these events have in common? Okay, it's like every 12,000 years, like on a clock. This kind of stuff happen, and we are due for another one within anywhere within 100 years or so. That's why we have to do this channel. That's why I cover this material, because this is just cyclical stuff. The kind of stuff that like your university or your weatherman won't speak about. Uh, we have this event that they went and checked at these places: Gothenburg, Lake Mungo, Tova, Vostok in Greenland. Vostok is a very well known area of Antarctica. And what you find is that every 2,000 years or so, there is somewhat of an electrical flip. All in reality, in the Earth is found on the clock on every single one of the states. It's found throughout the galaxy. It's found throughout the solar system. Okay, um, this event happens, and it's due to the fact that the magneto field of the Earth, right? The magnetic field of the Earth has to flip. Okay, it has to flip every 12,000 years, and basically it travels, and when it meets, it flips. Okay, and the North Pole becomes the South Pole, and vice versa. Um, right now, we have the magnetic field increase in losing strength. Is measuring like nanotesla, right? And it's losing its strength, and then starts traveling faster and faster. This is the main key here, right? Uh, we know this because we use the magnetic north to navigate, right? At least for that, we know that this is true. That over the past, this is undeniable stuff, right? So this is what's been happening, and the idea is that they could meet somewhere uh, in the Indian terrain or ocean around India somewhere. Nobody knows, but obviously it's directly connected to the sun. The sun does its flips also. Every not a full magnetic flip, but the magnetic fields of the sun travel every 22 years, and that's where we get our solar cycles, right? Um, this kind of stuff um, has been studied and published by countless great academics, such Anthony Perrot. You could search him up and see all his work basically the stick man and throughout the world, right? Like he found the sticks figures all over the world. What do they mean? These are plasma physics guys, so they compare it to what the plasma is doing and what people were looking at. I'm talking about what people were looking at way back here, right? 12,000 years ago, 24, 35, 46. um, Anthony Perrat was a student of Hannes Alfvén. This is El Papa Upa of plasma physics, okay? Nobel Prize guy, which, that's when the Nobel people were like, nah, not screwed up like they are today. But yeah, these guys they looked the all of the reality in a totally different way. The main key I want to make is this is all observation. This is no like imaginary computer stuff. This is actual stuff. We know about Christian Kirkland, Berkland out of Norway. He was looking at the auroras borealis, right? And he noticed obviously that they were electric and that they were moving. So he went into depth into them, and then he found out that is the whole current of not only Earth but the whole universe, basically, right? So this guy are very very like deep into it. I just want to mention them because there's a lot of neurosis today that do not go with what we observe today. We have to fight back.
Acabó la cuarentena, el cuerpo lo sabe y la calle está llena.
Se acabó la cuarentena, el cuerpo lo pide, la calle está llena.
Por eso mi cuerpo pide calle. Hasta mañana, calle, hasta mañana, calle, hasta mañana, calle, 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 hasta mañana, calle, hasta mañana, calle, hasta mañana, calle, calle, calle.
Hey, wow. You guys are locked up in Europe, except for Sweden, right? How about China? Everybody's locked up in Italy and in Germany, fighting back. Spain fighting. Spain was doing terrible already economically, and I can't imagine with this whole neurosis. Yet in China, in Wuhan.
Il est minuit à Wuhan. La fête ne fait que commencer. Tous les soirs depuis cet été, cette boîte de nuit branchée fait le
After
plein.
7, they start early over there.
Fini distanciation sociale ou gestes barrières, la jeunesse chinoise est déjà dans le monde d'après.
On est resté tellement longtemps enfermés, j'avais trop.
Whatever. I know I sound arrogant and stuff at times, calling people that devoted their life, the whole entire life to, let's say, something like medicine, and I'm telling them like, yeah, there's no viruses don't even do anything bad to you, but it's the truth, okay, so your exosomes actually repair you. Okay, so these people trying to like convince you that you are dirty, if you don't have a mask on and stuff, Look, there are ways that we can build, structure for society and actually work, but not the way these people want, to control everything centrally. A few of these people, like this monopoly guy, this bald hair guy here, want to control everything. That's the definition of the devil, okay? And centralized power is no other way to. I mean, yeah, you can go be a fundamental religious, but if you want to be an adult, like this centralization is the devil, you know. So obviously the cryptos are a way out because you will have some freedom. That's just straight up. Okay, the most unstoppable system today for communications is Traveler. I'm not even uh, investing in this. This is not something you can invest. It's something you have to grow into it. But this is the best system. I mentioned them because like this is the greatest thing um, civilization has given us thus far. You know, yeah, it's pre predates BTC. You know, BTC is great. No, nothing wrong with that. Um, but these people made a platform that would be unstoppable while giving people freedom at all kinds of level. Bitcoin has a lot of issues, and Ethereum has less issues now, but still has a lot of issues, and it's about that time for us. It's time for the speculator. 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 Speculate. Speculate. China, China, China. I got the shoes stone tonight. You know, it is a dielectric. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who will be the pompous of them all? Okay, so let's speculate. Um, I think I'm bringing this just in time. Uh, Probably will start pumping again. Obviously, this is not deep diving. Uh, this is not like a small cup, but it's probably one of the best projects out there with use case, you know, tackling payment. And I used to be against like projects that will just tackling payments because payments is something like really hard. You know, fundamentally, I just know that it's something really hard. But these people, I gotta say, they have been taking the lead when it comes to payment in a decentralized way. Um, and they seem to, yeah, have pumped all the way to 21 cent. See, it's only 50% down, more or less, from multi high. But this could still go down to maybe 5. But I wanted to put it in this segment because I think it could be a sleeper. Many of the uh, crypto Twitter follow these people, and they have a big community. But not only that, they also have customers already. So this is great. And on a bull market, uh, projects with fundamentals will would normally pay off. This is not financial advice. As always, this is brujeria. Okay, I wanted to put this reminder here, like this recount or whatever. Um, these people, G Crypto did this like a recap of the top 10 on the 5 million market cap projects, which I have covered a few of these people throughout the shows. Obviously, Polkadot very recently. I'm sorry, Polka started very recently. but also cover Frontier, very, very bullish on these people, maybe revolutionizing um, the wallet system in linear. So, as always, guys, hope you have a great day and hope you could extract some value out of the video.